Hey guys, it's Gazi here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you guys the absolute easiest ways to kill the final boss of the Forbidden Court of the Floral Palace in hard mode. I know a lot of people are struggling with this boss and I'm here to show you guys. I'm going to tell you guys exactly how we did it and how we recommend you guys to do it the same way. Um, Prior to starting this raid, obviously there are some preparations that you have to do. Number one, and most importantly, you should be running this man in a 20-man group instead of a 14-man group. I went through so many rates in 10, 14, and 20 man. It is so much easier in 20 man, you guys. The number one reason for that is you can bring more healers in to deal with the heavy tail attack. So you can pop a healing DR along with the whole screen AoE. Let me just pause the video real quick before I finishing talk about the preparation stuff. Now the daylight spell from summoners is really good. The spirit link totem from reapers is really good, and AOE shield. All of these spells are really good to deal with the whole map AOE, which is called heavy tail attack, I believe. We find that it is probably the number one reason why people are wiping in this boss is not planning your healer cooldowns accordingly. Along obviously you do have to pop your own DR along with the healing DR to increase the chance of you surviving this. So before the raid starts, the healer should discuss on the order of which they press these spells. Now at the start of the fight, one of the healers at least should pop one of these spells right away to deal with the whole map AoE because the boss does one right away, as you will see in about 2 seconds. We do pop one extra elixir, level 2 recommended, level 1 if you can't afford it, before the boss is pulled to reduce the cooldown so we can get it back up again when we have the second blade heart to time it with our CDs. Now in hard mode, you can choose to go up with two pilots instead of one. So the two pilots and one healer should stack at the furthest distance and leave the two pilots up there to deal with the spiders. Now, one super important thing I forgot to mention, as you probably saw already, we have three tanks instead of two in a 20-man party. Having three tanks gives us so much room to breathe. The substitute tank can deal with the beam. The substitute tank is one extra players to deal with the scorpions and also the lasers in the final stage. So having three tanks obviously is recommended. You actually don't lose that much DPS because the tanks will break armor on the boss and the ads all the time. So you actually don't have that much of a DPS loss in a 20-man group. Um, uh, in about 1 minute 20 seconds, the boss will do another freezing cell. He will target the three furthest members. Now, it is possible that one tank member also get frozen. They can see at the bottom of their screen, it will be a pink debuff of which will tell you the boss is going to freeze you. You can tell the range DPS beforehand, so they can get in position to break you out. But because this actually happened in this run as well, you will see in a bit. Now, the tank actually didn't tell us beforehand. You can see me kind of just like hurrying over there to kill him. Because we have three tanks, the substitute tank can fill in very nicely to give us a little bit more room to breathe. Now, for the person that is piloting up there, it is also possible for him to get the aggro of to be targeted by the blue beam to drop the blue puddle. For some reason, we believe it is a glitch. Now, it is really important to communicate um, it is really important for the tank to communicate with the person up in the sky to let him know that he is being targeted by the balloon beam so that he can get it away from the boss and the group. Otherwise, this fight is unplayable because the puddle will spread to make the map shrink. Now, when this cloud AOE comes out, we pop DR, we jump and we shift in to minimize our damage taken. Obviously, this is the first place where we need a healing DR. As you can see, our Reaper dropped the Spirit Link totem, and all the rings should stack together where I was standing. If you guys didn't pay attention, let me just rewind a little bit. around the tail of the boss to kill the two warm spawn that comes out in the center of the map. They should be stacked together. You do not need to interrupt this if you are far enough away. Now, if you don't kill this in time, there's a high chance that you will get a additional warm spawn in between those two stacked warm spawn and where the range is standing. Now, we don't need to kill this one, but we do need to interrupt it because the poison sprayer, when it's fully casted, will almost one-shot a player, and it's really important to interrupt the spell only if it's within range of other players. Now, because we have three tanks, two tank will pull the large scorpions one by one. Do not tank two at the same time, you will die, and do not mess up the aggro. Now, what I mean by that is now because you need to use your taunt to get the scorpions close to you, and also you don't really have that much time to build aggro. It is really easy for the melee to over aggro on the scorpions and be one shotted. The melees have to be so careful in this fight. Stop DPS if you have to for melees on the large scorpions. Just try to hit the boss as much as you can. The boss will face at 55%. And also a really important tip, the Berserker tank should not use Return Phantom at this stage because there's a high chance that you will mess up the aggro and end up tanking multiple scorpions at once, which is really scary. If you're doing all of that and you're still having trouble living in this fight, you should ask the DPS to break the golden body of the large scorpions. They do go down quite quickly. And now, when you kill the worm spawn, you get a debuff, which lasts 45 seconds and gives you a damaging buff, and will kill you upon it expiring. Now, this debuff is purgeable, so we decided to kill one more worm spawn before going into the phase to get the whole raid with this buff to deal with the next stage a lot easier. Now, once we get this debuff, we push the boss down to 55% and start the next phase. The ghosts will always spawn at four fixed locations at 3, 6, 9, and 12 o'clock exactly. Now, we split the DPS groups into two and have the melee get the ones where we're hitting right now, and the range hitting the ones behind me from my perspective. Now, the reason why I went with the melee group is because we have more melee than range. Range DPS unfortunately do perform a little bit better in this dungeon compared to melee. We killed the goals really quickly. Keep in mind, everybody has to block the orbs, whether it is purple or green, to make sure they don't get to the goal to heal them, and just DPS them down as much as you can. Now, around the time of the third and the fourth goal, the boss will start doing the whole map AoE again. So remember the order of your healing DRs and pop them accordingly. Once again, they are the Reaper Totem, the Daylight spell from Summoners, and also AoE Shield from Bard, along with your own CC. What I do is I listen to the audio cue, but because I have the Chinese version, it's really easy for me to listen to the Chinese cue because he announces like all intruders or whatever, blah blah blah, and then he will do that whole map AoE spell. Um, but if you're using the English client, I assume there's something similar. So listen to that audio cue. Don't wait for the raid leader to call for DR, um, because there's a high chance that you will not pop it in time. Now, let me talk about this laser for a bit. Currently, this laser is bugged. You cannot switch the stacks off of the tank, which is the reason why in 20-man we highly recommend bringing three tanks. Now, the mechanics of this laser is that he will always target the tank with the lowest aggro. So amongst the three tanks, whoever has the lowest aggro should position himself in where this tank is right now on your screen, behind the boss before the last goal dies, to make sure this laser does not hit any other player other than himself. Um, and what we recommend in this stage is just let the tank use all the DRs one after the other, starting from about 50 stacks of the laser, and just tank it the whole way. Do not try to switch off, and do not try to like res him, because he will not lose the stack of the laser even after being rest. So just let him die and tank for as long as you can, and then let the next tank take over when he does. For DPS, listen for the sun Q for the whole map AoE. Dodge these blue circles as much as you can, and try to aim for a position where you can hit the ink beast and the boss at the same time. Now, the tank do need to pull the beast a little bit closer to the body of the boss to make sure this can happen. That's pretty much all the tips. I'm trying to think about if I left anything out. Um, Probably not. So the first tank just went down. He used everything, including the potion, Underworld Guard, I believe it is called. It comes in really handy at this stage of the fight because it increases the time of which you can tank the laser. The bards can also double shield or triple shield or quadruple shield the tank and also freeze the tank to make sure he tanks a little bit longer. As you can see, I died to the whole map AoE because my DR didn't come up in time. It is actually very normal to lose players at this stage, but you actually do not need a whole party of 20 or 4 of 20 to finish this boss. You don't actually even need an active tank to kill the boss at this stage. Um, that's pretty much all the tips I can give you guys. I know even with all of that being said, it is still much tougher than any other boss currently out there, but doing this 20 man will make it so much easier. I know a lot of people are also struggling with the first boss of this same raid. I decided not to make a video on it because I'm sure the players who have already attempted that boss already knows the reason why you are wiping, whether it's because the lack of DPS or people just dying to random spells. Yeah, mostly the poison spell and the vine spell, the yellow line thing. Actually not sure what the skill name for that is called. But those you guys already know. I don't really need to give you guys tips on that. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see the VOD of which we killed this boss, not this attempt, but my 14-man attempt, you can find it on my Twitch at twitch.tv/GodzySolo. Good luck in your race. I'm really glad that finally this game is bringing me some decent content. So I am very motivated to play this game again. I was borderline quitting this game already, but now I got my hopes up, and I'm really really enjoying this game. But for now, I really hope you enjoy the video. Happy soloing, and peace out.